Hey guys, Drifter here. Black Ops 6 was just revealed in its own very special showcase right after the Xbox showcase. And I gotta say, it's looking downright fantastic. And what you're looking at right here in the beginning of the video is all of the multiplayer gameplay they revealed kind of all at once to give you the best vibe check for how the game is going to play. And right now, Black Ops 6 is reminding me a lot of the innovations and improvements that Black Ops 3 brought to the franchise. So today, I'm going to be covering everything of note about the reveal. We're going to be showing off multiplayer first, then near the end of the video, we'll talk about campaign and zombies a little bit. So, Black Ops 6 multiplayer, and obviously campaign as well, is set in the early 90s, so all of the guns and tech are 90s themed. For me, this is pretty fun because a lot of the classic Call of Duty weapons that you're familiar with are late 80s, early 90s Spec Ops type weapons, you know, MP5, M16, Deagle, stuff like that. Those are all iconic 90s weapons. The biggest thing that you're going to notice right off the bat about the gameplay is the new movement system. The developers at Treyarch decided to completely overhaul and revamp the entire character movement system in Black Ops 6, most notably adding in what they call omnidirectional movement. And when I first heard this, I'll admit that I was a little bit confused, but it ended up looking really good because to them, omnidirectional movement means that you can sprint in any direction at full speed without losing any momentum. So you can sprint really fast left, sprint really fast right. You can sprint backwards to get out of a room while keeping your guns up and shooting at people, so that your overall character movement is going to be a lot faster than it was in previous Call of Duty games. On top of this, you can also jump or dive in any direction. You can dive backwards, you know, guns up, of course. You can obviously dive forward. You can dive side to side like an action hero in a movie and stay shooting the entire thing. It looks very impressive, honestly. And the first thought that went through my head was the moment in Hot Fuzz where Nick Frost asked Simon Pegg, "Have you ever fired two guns akimbo whilst diving backwards out a window?" And I think you can actually do that in this game, so that looks really fun. Speaking of diving, they added a unique animation so that characters literally dive into the water like a proper diver. You don't just belly flop into it or fall in. If you're running toward the water, your character will dive as if he knows how to swim, and it looks very, very natural now. Obviously, given that reveal and some of the gameplay you've seen, swimming is back. It seems that water combat is back. I didn't get a good vibe check on if you're going to be able to have your assault rifle underwater like Black Ops 3, or if it's going to be more Modern Warfare 3 style where you have the pistol underwater, but it does look like you can hop in and out of the water rather dynamically. Beyond all of this, Treyarch decided to add in what they call dynamic leaning or cornering, and that means the sort of lean and peek mechanics that you would have in Rainbow Six Siege, where you lean your character back and forth, are in the game, but they're dynamic now. The last time this was implemented, I think, was Battlefield 4 or something like that. One of the Battlefield games had this dynamic peak thing, and Ghost kind of experimented with it, but it didn't work very well. What Treyarch decided to do was to make slicing the pie, which is when you peek and corner a room, not slow you down. So if you're sprinting and you run up to the corner, your character will lean a little bit, but it won't lock you to the corner, it won't stick you to the corner, it won't slow you down your movement or your aim in any way. Now, if you want to do it slower, you can get more lean, you can do it more dramatically, you can peek more, but if you're just absolutely booking it because somebody's chasing you or you're scared or something, it won't stick you and slow you down. Then finally, Treyarch decided to make mantling much easier. Seems pretty fast, honestly, from the gameplay that they've showed me. But the neat thing is that as a player, you will have the option to enable mantle assist, which is sort of a no-button option for almost all of your different character movements. It's not just mantle, it's like an all-character movement assist, to be honest with you. So what that would mean is if you're sprinting toward an object, you no longer have to time to hit the jump button to mantle over it properly. Rather, your character will automatically know that's an object and just sort of vault over it with guns up. The same is true of jumping up to climb something. If you're full on sprint into the wall, maybe looking up a little bit, it knows that you want to go up. So it'll just time the mantle perfectly for your character to jump, grab, and pull up. Interestingly, it seems to do the same thing for crouching. The example they gave was a character running toward a little duct or hole in the ground just full speed, and the game automatically knew what you were going to do, and it would just slide you through like an action hero. So it seems like no matter what you want to do, if you enable these assist features, all you're going to have to do is work the joystick, or I guess the keypad if you're on the controller, WASD, and the game will do it for you. You won't be slamming spacebar or pressing X or pressing A and just kind of trying to jump and constantly slamming your finger into the controller over and over and over and over and over and over again to do the advanced movement like you're doing in the Modern Warfare series. If this is implemented correctly, I think it could be an extremely helpful thing for the pace of the game. Matter of fact, if all of this is implemented correctly, I think it could all be extremely healthy for the game. I do have faith in Treyarch. I mean, they knocked it out of the park with Black Ops 3. Assuming they had a similar amount of development time, I'm going to assume that this is smooth and dynamic and not janky and weird. I personally am a huge fan of fast-paced, shoot-and-scoot, dynamic movement kind of games. You know, I like Titanfall, I like Black Ops 3, I'm still playing the finals right now. I love advanced movement, I love intelligent movement. I love games where you keep your guns up and maybe your character animation does all sorts of wacky stuff, but your guns are there. I used to play some of the Anubans back in Unreal Championship on Xbox, and they had really weird, unique movements. It was very fun. So this game seems to be trying to give you some of those Black Ops 3 level innovations and freedom of movement, but without the wall running or jetpacks. I think jetpacks and wall running like break people's brains and gets them frustrated. The movement gets a little bit too advanced. So they're keeping it boots on the ground in a way, but all of the crazy, cool, fun stuff you would want to do just kind of happens automatically, and I'm totally here for it. Other multiplayer facts are that it is a standard 6v6, at least at launch, and there will be 12 6v6 multiplayer maps at launch. Thank goodness, it's coming with some variety. There'll be 4 additional maps past that are designed for Strike, which is 4v4 or 2v2 modes. So there'll be 16 multiplayer maps at launch, 12 of which will be dedicated 6v6. They didn't say anything about ground war, big team battle, like bigger modes or anything like that, and they also didn't say anything about Warzone yet. From what they've showed of the maps, all of the maps take place at the end of the campaign mission. So each map is from a campaign mission, but after you finish it. So some of the story is continued there, or I guess you see some of the damage from the campaign missions. They appear to be standard Treyarch 3-lane maps, like pretty normal looking middle, left, right, maybe a few flank paths here and there. And they have the Treyarch standard of looking colorful and aesthetically pleasing. Thank goodness, tired of brown, gray, and depressing, so very happy with the way the maps are looking. They did talk about bringing back the classic prestige system. Thank goodness, I'm tired of all these weird, complicated ways to prestige. Classic works best for me. In terms of weapons and weapon variety, they didn't talk a lot about the guns. We saw plenty of guns, but we didn't really learn a lot about them. They look pretty normal 90s action hero kind of guns. I don't really have a strong opinion about them yet. There is some fancy tech in your tacticals and throwables, some like distraction grenades and stun grenades, some sort of throwing knife that seems to be laced with poison, which looks really cool. A lot of neat stuff going on there. Treyarch also did some interesting work in adding different hit zones to the body, and I don't just mean damage multipliers, you know, where headshots count more than neck or chest, but rather unique death animation areas. So each character will die in a different way depending on where you last hit them, or at least I think they start their ragdoll animations from there. So if you shoot somebody in the head is different than the arm. If you shoot them in the right knee, they kind of spin to that side, and that's where it starts the ragdoll animation. And the idea behind this is to give your bullets more oomph, more momentum, more connectivity in the world, and to provide a lot more non-repetitive deaths instead of characters just falling over, just kind of randomly going ragdoll for no reason. Anything that adds variety is a good thing. I did notice there were a lot of Xbox-specific console features and focus. Everybody was playing on Xbox for the multiplayer, but PC options and binds were also available in the game, so I'm assuming cross-play and I think we already know as PlayStation, Xbox, and PC again, so glad to see PC included a little bit. And overall, I think multiplayer is looking very, very good. I'm honestly very optimistic about it, because most of the things that I want in a COD game appear to be in Black Ops 6, which is to say a whole new movement system to master and sprint around the map and do action hero style tricks on people with. I think I like almost any game that allows me to do crazy stuff and look cool doing it, so I'm totally here for this. Speaking of all this Xbox stuff, I wanted to give a quick shout out to my sponsor Logitech G and their new A50X headsets that work both on Xbox and PlayStation and PC all at the same time. So if you wanted to change your consoles for exclusivity for this game, or if you just already own multiple, there is no better headset for you. I put a link down there in the description that'll give you a discount code if you want to check it out. Moving along, let's talk about Campaign. Campaign looks like a beefed up version of the Cold War campaign, and my understanding is that the Cold War campaign was very short, and I think they had to rush it a lot. Even though it had a lot of unique elements to it, which I found very fun, it was just very short experience. A lot of those elements seem to have been brought back for Black Ops 6 and expanded upon. So the campaign takes place in the early 90s and involves you going rogue from the CIA to clean out corruption from within the agency. So you're kind of like doing your rogue James Bond thing here. The neat thing about the campaign is that it seems like every level is open and dynamic, and that you have an option to approach stealthy or go loud and proud, again a lot like some of the Cold War missions. And there's also some sort of unique dialogue options that happen as you progress through the mission. I assume this is going to be more oriented on the stealth side of things, where you can talk to different NPCs, and if you have a silver tongue, you can open up unique routes in the map, unique options, unlocks, clues, mysteries, stuff like that. Perhaps skip a boss fight or something. So I think that's a very good thing. I think it's finally time that COD added something like that. Again, they were experimenting with that a little bit in Cold War. There does seem to be a headquarters you have to return to. You have to collect evidence and clues and fill out the whole board. My assumption is that to get the real true ending, you have to fill out the whole board with all the clues. And there's a branching story. It seems like you can make choices, save characters or not, maybe get different endings. I really liked what I saw, because even though it was short, and it was very short, I did enjoy the Cold War campaign. One of a few COD campaigns I played from start to finish, and it had a decent amount of replayability. So if this game has those same elements that I enjoyed, but perhaps improved upon, and especially with more content added, if it's a 10-hour campaign, I'll probably be very happy with that. Lastly, at the end of the video, we didn't get a lot of info about zombies, but we did get some info. It seems like classic round-based zombies is returning. I believe that's what one of the developers said. I didn't see any indication that there would be the giant open world maps like we had for Modern Warfare 3, but if we did, at least it'll be Treyarch operating the train. You know, like, boy, MW3 was rough. Okay, we're gonna move on from that. That's a sour topic of discussion here. I'm pretty sure I saw a Gobblegum machine flash by, unless I've lost my mind. They showed off plenty of upgrades, new types of disgusting zombies with nastiness all over. They did say that zombies is going to be a continuation of the Dark Ether story from Cold War, which, yeah, I mean, they wrapped everything else up with Revelations, so what can you do, you know? And at the very least, the little bit of teaser they put out at the end made it look like it was polished. It looked like it was in good shape. It looks like they had more than nothing to show off, so that means they have time to shape it up before launch. And my overall opinion with Black Ops 6 is it's looking pretty spicy for this year. I think it really could be good, and this is from a guy who's been with the franchise for a long time and who's honestly very cynical and beyond all this marketing and hype. Especially with that multiplayer movement system and bringing that to zombies too, that could be really, really fun. I'm really excited for multiplayer. I really want to see how it plays and get my hands on it. I'm happy with what I see so far, but of course things can go wrong. Early impressions can be wrong. Things can go bad. There can be flaws. There certainly will be flaws, but I'm liking the direction so far. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.